All right, it's Saturday about 3 o'clock, and my main man Sawyer and I are in the Menards parking lot. We're gonna go in and see if we can find some materials so that we can start building our first, pretty simple but still awesome mini golf hole. We'll keep in touch and take some video of how we do along the way, but first of all, we gotta go find the materials we need. Bye. All right, so we're back from Menards. We got a truck full of gear, and step one is to get a Pepsi and some music going in the garage. And for my man Sawyer here behind me, and I'm gonna help too, to get the garage swept out, because we're gonna do all of our work on the floor of the garage. All right, we unloaded the truck. Got everything kind of laid out here on the garage floor. I want to take a picture to make sure I show everyone the materials that we bought and the tools that I think we're probably going to use. And if anything else changes with the tools that we add, I will let you know. Okay, here you go. All right, we got Led Zeppelin playing in the background, and there's a picture of the rug, the furring strips, the big piece of 2x8 wood, adhesive that we got, the PVC pipe for the hole, and the few tools, jigsaw and miter saw and T-square, good old-fashioned measuring tape, and a pencil. We're gonna get started and see what we can do. Okay, so the very first design challenge that Sawyer and I dealt with is realizing that these really long 2x2 inch 8 feet long furring strips aren't perfectly straight. We grabbed the straightest ones that we could, but they ended up being just a little bit curvy. So gluing them to the bottom of our 2 foot by 8 foot flat board didn't work quite so well. So as you can see down there in the corners and halfway through, I've just started doing some screwing instead, putting in some wood screws, and luckily I had the right kind, the right length screw. So I'm going to do a hole. I'm going to drill a hole here first, and then show you what I'm doing to change my bit, and then screw in an actual wood screw. So I'm going to try to squeeze this so that it's perfectly aligned all the way on the side.
Measured one of those pieces of wood, made the line, went down to make sure it was right, and then I sawed it off for both ends.
Okay, I want you to lift that piece up. We just made that as tight as we possibly could, and then go ahead and put it back in there, fit it real nice. Pretty good. Nice and square. All right, nice. Next thing we're gonna do is flip this whole operation back over and screw in the ends from the top. Okay, so the next step after we finish all the way around the underneath furring strips is to measure and then figure out where I want to put the actual hole. And so what I did was I measured 12 inches in from each side and 15 inches from the very back. So I'll show you right here. 15 inches this direction, 12 inches on either side. I measured it with the measuring tape and made some marks with a pencil. And then I used what's called a jigsaw. I drilled a hole first to get a start, and then I put what's called a jigsaw inside and cut all the way around. I'll show you here in just a second. Okay, so what I was just talking about here is the actual cut hole. The very first thing that I did was took a fairly big size drill bit and drilled a hole right along the edge of where my outline was. First things first, I took the PVC pipe 4 1/4 inches, laid it down, traced a circle around it with pencil, and then I used this big guy. It's called a jigsaw, and that blade right there just goes up and down as fast as possible. And so I kind of knelt over the top, went all the way around, turning around the edge, until this baby popped out. So now we have the start of an 8-foot by 2-foot golf hole. All right, so the next step of materials that we used was I laid out the 6-foot by 8-foot rug just on the garage floor, and it's a little curvy at the edges, so I had to lay down some 2x4s to make sure it stayed flat. And I used one of our leftover furring strips to lay down 2 feet in from the edge. I made marks and made little cuts, and then I had my family help stand on the strip, and I cut all the way down the sides. So let me show you what it looks like. All right, hope you saw that. So this is upside down, so the side that we were walking all over will be covered. It'll be face down, and that's what we're gonna spray adhesive on next to get it to stick to the actual hole itself. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I cut the slice of green fabric, this is a piece of rug actually, off of that big piece right there, and basically just laid it down right on top of the mini golf hole itself. I use these 2x4s to just kind of hold it in place. So right now it's just laying there, and I'm trying to decide whether I should staple them down, like actually with a staple gun. I think I have. But as you can see, I cut it to 8 feet by 2 feet, and looking at the corners, it's pretty darn close to fitting perfectly well all the way around. And I think if I kind of pull it tight as I'm stapling or whatever I'm going to do to glue it down or adhesive and keep it in place, I think if I kind of just drag this and pull it tight all the way down, it should be fitting pretty perfectly at the very end. The hole is, let's see, right in here. So eventually the hole will be cut through the green felt right there. Okay, after taking a little bit of a break, last night after cutting the piece of green like carpet so that we can add to the top, I just sprayed the underside of it with this adhesive all the way across, back and forth a bunch of times, and then I actually sprayed the top of the board itself and just laid it down. Now what I'm gonna do next is I pushed it and tried to keep it like very tight all the way across so there's no bubbles or lips or anything. It did go just a tad bit off the end in some of the corners, so I might actually trim that, the green felt piece up just to make it look very nice. What I'm doing now, just to ensure that it doesn't move, is using a staple gun down around the edges. I'm gonna show you that here real quick. Just like that, all the way down around the end. And once I've got that down, this will be very secure and hopefully never actually move. I'm gonna vacuum it after I'm done also to make it look very pretty.